Hey guys, the Geek here with the deck profile of the deck that I used for the box tournament at locals. Basically, I call it Spellcasters because every monster in the main deck is a Spellcaster, with the exception of one of the one of the Dragoon bricks, Red Eyes. But I guess if you wanted to get technical, you'd call it like Magistus, Invoked, Endymion, something or other. But it's very similar to the other build that I did a deck profile on, which was the Magistus Pendulum build that played the normal monsters. It's very similar, but some slight differences. That build has been retired in favor of this one. This is the one I've been playing for the last couple of months. 3 Zorora, 3 Endymion, the monster, 3 Rilanoa, 1 Crowley, 1 Jackal King, 1 Servant of Endymion, only 2 Mighty Masters, the 2 bricks for Dragoon, Trick Clown, 3 Ecclesia, 3 Fleur-de-Lis, 1 Maximus, 3 Alistair, 3 Meltdown, 1 Vritra, 1 Trismegistus, 3 Spell Power Mastery, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 Upstart, 1 Invocation, and then 1 Terraforming. Exactly 40 cards. No more, no less, because I like playing 40 card decks only. I don't like going over 40. As I said, I came up with this build as a replacement for the normal monster pendulum build that I had. While that build was still very good and very budget, it would oftentimes brick by drawing into normals, which normal monsters are always a brick. Even with unexpected die, being able to special summon them out of the deck, getting Ash would kind of just stop you outright. This deck doesn't suffer from that as much. I initially wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get the Invoked engine with the Dogmaticas into the build, since the deck space is so tight, but I managed to make it fit. Even that being said, there are things that I want to cut out of this build that I still don't really like. I was able to pick these up for cheap IRL, the Invoked engine stuff, because I know it's not getting reprinted this year, so I felt like I'd pick it up, and then if I have to sell it off next year, or if the Invoked engine gets hit on the ban list, there's things I can adjust in this build that'll give me more space to work with. For pretty much all the games I played in the tournament, I ended up siding out one of each of these, because they're normal summons. They can't be special summoned off Trismegistus, but they can be bricks. They're only not bricks if you open up with this, because then you can special summon them. Because you can do a Magistus Pendulum summon with this. At least that's what I call it. This usually gets sided out because this is oftentimes a brick. I side out the Maximus. I've rarely ever used Maximus, even though I'm playing the one of Ash Dragon in the extra deck, which I forgot to mention, but the extra deck is down here. There's nothing super special for the extra deck. My side deck also isn't very special either. So the things I would probably take out is the Maximus. I don't like it, which is going to automatically get rid of the Ash Dragon. I've never gone into Maximus really. I think I went into it once during the box tournament because I didn't have any other plays, and even then it didn't really do a whole lot. I really don't like Maximus. Ash Dragon also eats up a spot for the extra deck, which could be literally anything else, like another rank 4 to help make Zeus a little bit easier. Probably a Baguska if I wanted a generic rank 4, or if I wanted a generic rank link 2 monster. Could really play any of them. I could probably even put Crowley in here, even though Crowley isn't gonna do anything for the deck. I could play the Pendulum one, I forget its name, but the Link 2 that's 1900 attack is probably better than Crowley. I could play that as a generic Link 2, because my only Link 2 is this dude to make Dragoon. So outside of that, I can't make Link 2s. And then I play a Link 4 Borload just in case. Has actually come up a couple of times. It helps get over the goddess that can't be that has to be targeted, because he can target her and then attack over him and not use his effect to take her. I also have the Zeus package in here with the water combo. Obviously, the water combo is Endymion to equip Moon Maiden, search for Crowley, special summon Crowley by getting rid of the Moon Maiden, make Crowley a water, overlay into Bahamut Shark, and make a Ronin Toad, and then attack with the Toad. Hopefully it doesn't die, and then you can overlay this for a Zeus, a Zeus with one destruction, or a one quick effect send. So it's a thing. It works. It's unexpected for this build because people usually think I'm just playing generic invoked Shadals or invoked Shadal invoked Shadal God, forgetting the other words, but I'm not. There's the Magistus engine in this deck that also helps make the other invoked fusions because these guys are attributes. This guy can also change his attributes, so he can go into any one of these if I use him for that purpose. So it does. Magistus engine is there if I don't have Alistair, because Alistair is like the one normal summon that you kind of rely on, but you won't always have it even with 3 meltdowns and a terraforming. Obviously, if this gets hit on the ban list, you're gonna want a normal summon replacement. The Magistus monsters work just fine. Endymion is probably the best one. Second best would be Zoroa if you have an Endymion, one of these other dudes in the graveyard. Rillinoa, she is the worst. I might even cut her down to 2 because I'm playing 3, but I only have 2 targets for her, so I may cut her just down to 2. Because she is the worst normal summon because she can't equip from extra deck like these two can, which actually makes her the worst, even though she can search out this, which is like one of the best spell cards in the deck. Vitros also a brick. It's just a monster reborn for one of these guys, but if you don't draw into them, you're not gonna have one engraved, so this becomes a dead card if you draw it. So it also can't be used for a Moon Main, even though it's a Magistus. It doesn't work because it has to be a level, and she doesn't have a level. So I might cut this as well and just play another copy of this, even potentially. Even though this is a brick, it's a really good brick because everything's a spellcaster, so it's always a playable brick. I mean, I don't know if you would call it a playable brick or just a playable card, but it's a playable brick, a very playable brick. Obviously, Spell Power Mastery, it can search any Endymion card, so it can search this if you don't want any of these, which every once in a while you'll search this. You do play enough spell cards to resolve a Servant to bring out one of these guys. But sometimes you just want a solid normal summon play, so you can search this guy out instead to get the water play. Or have a backup, because also Ronin Totem, once it uses effect, you just get this back out of the graveyard. So there's some recursion there, so you don't go completely neg 1. I don't think there's anything else special about the build really outside of that. Everything else is pretty standard. I don't remember what my games were. My game 1 I played against, what was it? Vampires, that's right. I played Vampires game 1. They had the counter trap. I don't remember the name of it, but it can basically a Solomon, it can negate anything. That kept me off the board for 3 turns, but I was still able to come back and make a Dragoon play and win it. Surprisingly more difficult matchup than I thought it would be, but Dragoon just kind of outs that whole vampire deck by itself because they can't really deal with this. Other than that, you don't have, actually there aren't too many outs in the deck against vampires other than maybe this if I can go into it, or this to wipe their board. It takes them a while to rebuild, so you'll only have 3 outs to vampires. Nothing in the side deck is super good against the vampire deck. Darkhold maybe, TC Boo maybe. This can banish one of the dudes off the field, but this is a discard, so you don't really play this a whole lot. There's only 3 rounds. So my round 2 was Invoked Shadal, a more generic meta build. He actually main decks TC Boo, so he got me game 1 with that. I wasn't able to do anything, and I just lost because I had a very weak opening of just Alistair with spell cards, so I couldn't do anything. And obviously you don't play All Mirage anymore because it's extra deck space. It's probably smart to still play an All Mirage, but you only got 15 slots to work with. I was able to win game 2 and 3 by just having a superior hand. He had hand traps, but the deck does play around hand traps pretty well. Having Triss Magistus, especially one of these guys, after like this gets ashed or something, or a Gamma or a Droll, still being able to make a play, go into a Link is still really solid. So you only need a couple negates against a Invoke Shaddoll to stop them for a turn. As long as they didn't just open up absolutely amazing. If they're playing a whole bunch of hand traps, the hand traps don't fuel their engine. It's just to try to stop you. So you just have to stop their engine pieces, and then you can push the rest of the way through. He also didn't have any of the Dogmatica engine. He only had Invoke Shaddoll, so he had no Dogmatica cards, because these cards are still really expensive. So I dropped this on him. I think it was game 2 or game 3 when he had the fusions on. He had 3 of the fusions on board. He can't get past this. So that bought me, I think, 1 or 2 turns enough to draw into this to get rid of Wendy or something, and then I was able to make some more special summon plays after that. So this card actually helped out a lot. That was also the only round where I used Maximus, because I wanted to set up for next turn because I couldn't kill him. So I brought this out to dump this to empty out his extra deck a little bit more, to search another copy of I think Fleur de Lis, and just sit on it. Just in case he had another play for next turn, I could, I have a negate ready. And then round 3, I played against, what was round 3? It was like a god deck, but it was the Uria, Haman, whatever the other one is, deck. So it was like the new school god deck. But the deck requires a lot of sets. Games 1 and 2, I think he just normal summoned one of the Dark Beasts. I don't know what it does, but it's like searches. Game 1, I went first. He summoned the Dark Beast. I negated it. Game 2, he went first, but he had 3 or 4 sets, but they were apparently all dead cards, so he completely bricked. He couldn't activate any of them. He was waiting to draw into a card. I just made Dragoon, despite all the back row, and he had nothing to activate or stop it. So once Dragoon was out, he wasn't winning, because none of his important stuff was going to resolve. I was going to negate the first creature he had that tried to do something, and then I know he'd be stuck. So that's how the tournament went. So it wasn't a full meta tournament, but there was still one meta deck there that I had to play against, and still had a hard matchup against vampires. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I don't plan on changing it unless the ban list hits something in this deck. Then I'll change it slightly, but I do like this deck. There's more Spellcaster support coming out, so I can actually fill in a lot of gaps with more Spellcaster monsters to keep this deck going. No matter how the ban list seems to affect things moving forward, if a whole bunch of stuff gets hit, this deck will still be playable. You just have to shift some cards around. Because I know there's I believe there's 2 new Spellcaster hand traps that are coming out in OCG for not the next set, but the set after the next set, that are really good, that can be splashed in here and still be a mostly Spellcaster deck. Not that Spellcasters actually do anything, but they're all Spellcasters and they all work together, so it kind of just works. But yeah, that's been the deck profile. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Once again, I don't do these very often, so I still appreciate people who are still subscribed to the channel, watch the videos, and are hanging out. I do appreciate it. Even though my updates or my uploads are very sporadic, because I'm working so much these days. If the pandemic gets a little bit better in the future, I may start recording the local games like I used to do back in the day. But I want to make sure things are safe for me to do that, and I have the permission of the people who I'm recording and the store owners before I start doing that. So that's why I haven't been doing it lately. Because obviously I need to set up a camera and I need table space to do that, and everything has to be clean. So that's still a concern. But hopefully one day I will get back to doing that. It might even be by the end of this year. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I appreciate all the support. And until the next video, I will see you all next time. Thank you.